What's up guys, my name is Devin and welcome back to another episode of Footballrs. In today's video, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Cutters Gamer 5.0 padded receiver gloves. Bah! Alright guys, so here are the gloves we're going to be taking a look at today. Again, these are the Cutters Gamer 5.0. First things first, we're going to take a look at the packaging. Cutters, adult medium, extreme grip, and then again, Gamer 5.0. Let's take a look at the back. Of course, you have the grip, the greatness up there, Cutters, C-Tech grip, RevTech recharge, all weather, and then of course, machine washable, something Cutters does. Little diagram of the glove here. Air C-Tech grip, extremely sticky, ventilated to keep hands cool. Lightweight back, more breathable and form-fitting. Streamlined padding, added protection for back of hand, and then a neoprene cuff, wrist comfort without the bulk. Check it out. So of course, these are Cutters padded receiver glove here. They've been making these for a while. Of course, these are their 5th one. We've got 4 colors to talk about in today's video. Let me unbox this first pair and we can check them out. And then of course, the full review in the second half of today's video. Get that paper out of there. All right, guys, so here are the gloves, and first impression is they are a lot lighter than I expected to be. Usually the Gamer is kind of a bulkier padded receiver glove, and these are a little bit lighter, so very excited to see kind of how they feel. The padding still feels pretty thick, but the glove itself feels a little bit on the lighter side. So let's talk about the back of hand first. So it's kind of tough to see, but there are lots of pads on this back of hand. You got one here, one here, one here, one here, and then a couple in each finger, all the way through, and then on the thumb you also have 2, so each finger has 2 pads, and then you have this big kind of knuckle pad here, no padding here. You can kind of see where the seams are. That's where the padding is. I'm not sure how it's showing up there on the phone, but hopefully you guys can see that. And then besides the padding, it's like a thinner mesh material. It does feel like it's going to be a durable material, but it's not as thick as some of the other padded receiver glove back of hand meshes that we've seen in the past. So can't wait to see how it feels on hand. It does feel initially really light, which is a little bit surprising to me, but we'll see how it feels. In the tips of the fingers, we have kind of a rougher synthetic material, so that's going to give the glove some good durability. Of course, being a big steel glove, these are going to be on the hands of some linemen, tight ends, linebackers, guys that are kind of battling in between the tackles. So you definitely want to make sure the glove is pretty durable, and I think they have done that with some of this material here. Continuing to talk about the fingers, in between we do have a different mesh than we saw on the Rev Pro 6.0. It's a much more finer mesh. I'm not sure if it's going to be more durable, but it might not breathe as well as the more ventilated mesh that we saw in the receiver gloves. But of course, the name of the game with these isn't so much about being light and breathable. It's more about being protected and protecting your hands in the trenches. Also seeing a lot of these silicone lines kind of going on each finger and also on the lower back of hand right here. And then of course you have the big Cutters C. This is how you can always tell when a glove is Cutters. And then of course here is the strap, which also says Cutters with that C, and it's a thick durable strap with some lines on there. And then the cuff is a nice thin neoprene material. You do have some like lines in it, so that's going to allow it to kind of move and conform to your hand a little bit better. And then you also have this extended piece here, which kind of helps you pull on the glove. Just a nice little comfort feature there, which is always really nice. This is what the mesh looks like from the inside, so you guys can kind of see where the pads are sewn in. I feel like a lot of people don't really show you kind of what's going on beneath the surface, but this is kind of like the netting type mesh that you have here and kind of how the pads are held in. And then here is that little tag, Cutters Gamer 5.0. Again, these are a medium, and C-Tag grip is actually on the tag, and machine wash with cold water to restore that grip. Also kind of neat that the back of the neoprene is black. I feel like everything on this glove is blue. Cutters is kind of notorious for their solids, but you do get a little bit of black in there. Let me check my red pair. Yeah, same deal with the red pair too. So the inside of the mesh is black, but nobody will ever know. Also, something else I'm noticing about these finger caps is that they have a couple holes in them as well, so they're going to be a little bit ventilated. And then of course the C-Tech palms, Cutters famous grip solution, one of the best in the game, super durable, does a really nice job kind of putting up with whatever you throw at it. Has some holes in there as well, so you're going to get some air to escape here. Padded receiver gloves, it's so easy for them to get hot because the pads just kind of hold in that heat. But with these little holes here and some of the holes here, they might stand a chance. We'll see. So next up, I'm going to put it on, kind of see how it feels, give you guys my first impression of the glove. I'm going to do the blue pair. Oh, okay, not too bad. Let's see. Strap it up. It's definitely light. Like, it's a lot lighter than I would have expected. And the dexterity is surprisingly good. Of course, we'll talk about that more in the full review, but it's definitely a lot lighter than I expected. I really kind of like how it fits. The pads are there. They don't seem to be, you know, they're not moving around a ton. You have this nice tab here. The neoprene's nice, the cuff's nice, the strap's nice. The fingertips look like there's a little bit of movement in them. The pad placement is really good. It's kind of right you know, the pads kind of protect the fingers, and then where your joints are, where you bend the finger, there's no pads, so you don't have any dexterity issues, which is really, really smart of cutters. I'm getting a little bit of this material kind of pushing into the webs of my fingers, so that'll be something to look out for in the full review. But the thumb, super duper tight, but the material, like it's, I don't know, something about these, they feel really light. I love how they feel. I'm very excited to see how they perform. And if they get hot, I do feel like they're getting a little bit hot right now. Not a ton of room for ventilation, but we'll see, you know, with the holes here and the holes up here. I can't wait to see how these do, but we do have a couple colorways, so let me just show you guys that real quick. So of course we have the royal blue pair, the red pair, the black pair, and then of course that icy white pair. So that's all the colorways they got. This is the first impression unboxing part. Now let's kick it into the full review.
Today's video is brought to you by ZoomBang. Now, if you're familiar with our channel, you've already seen ZoomBang on a bunch of our videos and some of the guys we've featured, like Lamar Jackson, the two-time MVP. Now, aside from the Ravens, ZoomBang is used by a ton of guys across the league, including Jason Kelsey and Najee Harris. It's essentially state-of-the-art compression gear like girdles and compression shirts that you wear underneath your pads. This added protection allows players to be fearless out on that battlefield. ZoomBang's viscoelastic polymer is soft to the touch and conforms to the exact shape of whatever it's supporting at rest. Upon impact, ZoomBang's molecules stiffen up and lock together to disperse the energy and provide maximum protection. After impact, ZoomBang transforms back to its original cushioning, supportive state. Independent testing has shown that these poly shields dissipate 90% of impact, reducing blunt force that's transferred to the body, which their competitor can only say they do 40% of. With hundreds of collisions in a single game and thousands during the course of a season, there are no shortcuts when it comes to safety. If some of the best football players in the world choose to wear ZoomBang, why shouldn't you? If you want to learn more about ZoomBang, you can check out our full video on them or just check them out in the description down below. Again, thanks ZoomBang. Back to the video.
All right, now that you guys have watched the full unboxing and first impression, it's time to get into the review of the Gamer 5.0. In this part of the video, we're going to talk about the fit, the comfort, the grip, the protection, the style, and of course the price. Without further ado, let's talk about the fit. The fit on these is pretty great, but definitely not perfect. The back of hand material they use on these is a little bit thinner than I expected and gives the glove a good tight fit on the back of hand and down all the fingers as well. The material and the pads do a really good job molding to the shape of your hand and feel pretty secure all the way around. In the tips of the fingers, these do have a synthetic overlay, but nothing to the side of the finger, so you only get that material kind of over the top of your fingernail. Because of this, the glove does move around a little bit in the finger, so not super compressive up at the top. These have a nice fine mesh that gives the fingers the ability to stretch and conform to the size and shape of your fingers. I do wish the fingers were just a little bit tighter for me, but these are big steel gloves intended for guys with thicker fingers than me, so I guess that makes sense. For the strap, these have your typical neoprene cuff, which feels nice and secure all the way around your wrist. I do think you're going to want to strap these up because they do feel a little bit loose when you don't strap them up, so I wouldn't say these are a glove that you can kind of rock unstrapped. Overall, the back of hand material gives these a solid fit, but you can definitely tell this glove is catered towards guys with bigger hands at those big skill positions. The next thing we're going to talk about is the comfort. For the most part, these feel pretty good. The inside of that mesh feels pretty good against the back of hand, and the material isn't bunching up anywhere, which is always good. As I mentioned in the unboxing, these gloves do feel a lot lighter on my hands than I expected, and I'm a huge fan of that. The glove as a whole feels really thin and has plenty of flexibility throughout. That neoprene cuff feels really nice, and the small rib portion gives it kind of a natural feel around your wrist. Also, for a big steel glove, these breathe really well. Typically with these padded receiver gloves, they get pretty hot pretty quick, but these do a decent job extracting some of that heat. The back of hand mesh is surprisingly thin. They have some small holes in those finger caps we talked about earlier, and of course they have the cutter's ventilated palms as well. They do still get hot like you will get with any padded receiver glove, but they do a lot better than I expected. The only downside I noticed comfort-wise is that the mesh in between the fingers can kind of push into the webs of my fingers, but again, everyone has different hands, so this might not be an issue for you. As always, we do recommend you go to Dick's Sporting Goods, you go to some local sports store, and try these on and get the one that fits for you, and make sure they're nice and comfortable on your hand and your fingers. But overall, they're pretty comfortable. They breathe pretty well for a padded receiver glove, but the material in the fingers did create a little bit of discomfort for me. The next thing we're going to talk about is the grip. These have the famous Cutter's C-Tac grip, which was one of my favorite grips in the game. Right out of the package, they might not be the stickiest, but the palms are a little bit thicker and more durable than the other ones on the market. The key to these is their RevTac recharge. They've been doing this for years. It's one of the coolest things in football. Basically, these have multiple layers, so once you wear down that initial layer, you can wipe them with a damn cloth and the grip is good as new. As long as you keep these palms clean, which emphasis on keeping them clean, these will work for you in just about any weather. Now lastly, my favorite thing about these, if they are dirty or the grip is worn down, you can literally just pop these in the washing machine, let them air dry, and the gloves are back and better than ever. No other gloves on the market really do that, and I think that's really cool. Overall, Cutter C-Tac is one of my favorite palms on the market. It's a great glove that will work in pretty much any weather condition as long as you keep them nice and clean. The next thing we're going to talk about is the protection. The protection on these is pretty good. The pads aren't super thick, but they do a good job absorbing some of that impact. The placement of the pads is also really nice. They have 2 pads on each finger and then 4 on the back of hand. The pads don't seem to affect the dexterity of the glove and are in key spots you need them for protection. Overall, the protection on these is great for a padded receiver glove, and they still feel pretty lightweight on your hand. The next thing we're going to talk about is the style. As far as looks go, I think they look pretty good. As a pad receiver glove, they do look to be a little bit more on the chunky side, but that's just kind of how it goes when you add pads to a receiver glove. They did go back to the solid colorways on these, which is one of my favorite looks in the game just due to simplicity. Sometimes simple is best. They do have some silicone overlays on the back of hand, but no other real cool details other than that. And as far as colors, they only come in 4. You get the red, blue, white, and black, the 4 colors we unboxed, so they're definitely limited in that category, but they look pretty good regardless. Overall, a good looking pair of gloves. The last thing we're going to talk about in today's video is going to be the price. The price on these is $55. $55 is pretty much where the market's at for a pad receiver glove, so it's a good price. Of course, pad receiver gloves are going to be a little bit more than your regular skill gloves just because they use more material, so that costs more. The overall quality of the glove also seems pretty good, so you guys shouldn't run into any issues with durability, so I think $55 is a good price. Overall, these are one of the better big skill football gloves on the market. They offer a good back of hand that breathes well and fits tight, a pretty good amount of padding, and one of the most durable grips in football. At $55, these are one of the best options for big skill folks out there, and you guys should have no issues getting a full season out of the Cutters Gamer 5.0. There you guys have it. There's the full unboxing review on the Cutters Gamer 5.0. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to like the video, comment what you guys want us to review next time, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. My name is Devin, and thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Footballrs. Bye.